Welcome back. Now, the broadcaster Spencer Matthews has made history by becoming the first man to run 30 marathons in 30 days on sand. In a post on Instagram, he said 30 desert marathons in 30 consecutive days, all on sand. Yikes. I'm now a Guinness World Record holding endurance athlete, the first and only person to successfully run this many back-to-back marathons in those extreme conditions. Just over 42.2 kilometres or 26.2 miles every single day. That is 1,274.2 kilometres of the world's toughest terrain with no comfort in which to recover. Now, the 36-year-old has been running at 2:30 to avoid the heat. He's running in the Jordanian desert and is raising funds for Global's Make Some Noise campaign. Has collected almost £260,000 so far, and I'm very pleased Spencer joins us now live from Wadi Rum in Jordan. Spencer, thanks so much for being with us. How you feeling?
Pretty good, mate. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
No worries at all. I mean, I haven't just run 30 marathons in 30 days, so it's quite the achievement. I mean, talk us through the beginning thought process of this, Spencer, and why you decided to take on this challenge.
There's kind of two main reasons behind it, I suppose. One's charitable, so we're trying to raise money for Global's Make Some Noise. I had the great fortune of meeting some of the small charities that they support. They support about 100 small charities across the UK, small charities that don't have access to lots of funds, but are dealing with some of life's toughest challenges, really, within children, and not always children, but bereavement, loneliness, homelessness, things that we may not think about on a regular basis, kids that really need help. And the other is personal, I suppose. I had a fairly turbulent relationship with alcohol for many years, so I suppose I'm trying to prove to my former self that things that would have been out of my reach are kind of feasible now. And but it's a really incredible journey that we've just been on. I mean, it ended this morning. I couldn't be more thankful to my team. We had the most it's hard to describe the time that we had for 30 days. It was a challenge in two halves, really. There was the 30 marathons consecutively, and then there was existing in camp, sleeping rough, no running water, no showers, no access to kind of regular food. So no, we've had it pretty rough, and we're delighted to have come out successful on the other end.
Absolutely. And congratulations to you and to the whole team. You've got a support network, as you say, that's helped you get through this. Spencer, if you don't mind, let's talk about some of those reasons you said. You said proving something to your younger self. What kind of message do you want to try and tell people who perhaps see some of themselves in the way that you used to be with your issues with alcohol?
It's difficult to give advice really on the matter. I think everybody has their own relationship with these things, and it's often not linear how people navigate these tricky situations. I abused alcohol for many years. It kind of was masked as fun, I suppose, for a long time, and only became problematic. Later on, I was teetotal for a period of 4 years, which I think was incredibly helpful for me. I now drink alcohol in moderation. I feel like I have a completely different relationship with alcohol. It no longer is this thing on my back that I'm frightened of or looking to get rid of. Somebody wrote to me the other day, and it was meant as a kind of insult, saying, "Well, you've just replaced one addiction with another." And I actually thought that is quite good advice. You asked me to offer advice. I probably wouldn't offer advice if I wasn't asked for it. But my advice to anyone who's struggling with alcohol or feels that they have developed, bad habits that they're struggling to shake, is to try and do exactly that. Try and channel your addictive nature into something else, into sport, into running. A period of abstinence, I think, is incredibly helpful. Obviously, for some people, they need to be abstinent forever. That's not the case for me. I don't think it's necessarily the best advice either to give people who have issues with alcohol the advice that they should just be teetotal forever. It's a huge mountain to climb. And again, everybody is different. I needed that time off, that 4 years, just to really kind of reassess my relationship with it, be free of it, and to give myself the opportunity to be able to explore my potential, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to run marathons or lots of marathons, but for me, this is a really good way of channeling that nature that I have within me into something more positive. Fundraising for people who need help. The funds that we're raising are going to go a really long way to improving the lives of many people here in the UK who deeply deserve it. And my pain over the course of these 30 marathons was temporary in comparison to their permanent pain, often incredibly, unjust pain that they suffer through on a daily basis. So the fact that I know that these people are going to be helped by my efforts kept me going most of the time.
Yeah, thank you for that, Spencer. That's really sort of profound and insightful. And I think it will have helped a lot of people who have struggled with those kinds of things. I wonder, of course, as well about being a father as well. I've seen from some of the reporting, I think your daughter Gigi learned to ride a bike while you were away. You've got 3 kids. How much of that has sort of inspired you to not only to get a better relationship with booze, but also to do something like this so they can, they'll eventually see this?
Yeah, I mean, they're here now, actually. Gigi and Theodore, the 2 older children, are here now. My parents very kindly flew out to support me. Yeah, I had a bad relationship with alcohol before Theodore was born. So Theodore was is our oldest son. He turns 6 next week, actually. So my period of total abstinence was throughout his younger years, and as I said earlier, I feel like I've got a grip on it now. But it's I think it's important to try and set a good example to your kids. I don't believe that everybody should not drink alcohol. That's I've never been anti-alcohol. I just needed a good break, and that break, as I said, has allowed me to really focus on things that I would have ordinarily found impossible. I've been greatly inspired by people who have pushed their bodies through limits that I would have thought just wasn't possible. And now to consider myself, in at least a similar camp to them, is how I would define progress. And I'm only paying attention to trying to better myself, in this process, and if I can raise significant funds for charity, then let's use the platform that I have, having done some television in the UK, to try and kind of spread the word and raise some
Yeah.
money. And I think that the total number today now stands at 370 grand, I think. So
Yeah.
big boost today, having completed the marathons.
No, congratulations, man. And it's going to, well, I hope, keep going up because it's a worthy cause. Let's get into a couple of the specifics, if you don't mind, without too much product placement as well. I've looked at some of the pictures and you're wearing very interesting shoes while you're running. Are you able to tell us what kind of sneakers you were wearing during the event?
Of course, yeah. It's for some reason everybody's really interested in the shoes. So I just wore pretty. I hope Adidas don't think I'm being nasty for calling them ordinary, but I think they're just ordinary trail shoes. They're Adidas Terex Agravic Pro, I think. And then on top of that, there's an incredible gentleman whose name is Kevin, and he stitches Velcro into the base of the shoe, and you can buy these kind of raid-like gaiters that go over the top of the shoe, and they keep sand out. So they're not, in fact, a kind of strange shoe. They're a normal trail sandy, running shoe that has a gaiter over it. In fact, yeah, I've got one here. Don't worry about the branding. I won't show you any branding, but this is a filthy gaiter that's done 30 marathons in 30 days. So that's what that looks like.
Wow,
Yeah.
Modified. Yeah, and of course, thanks for not showing the branding. Other trail shoes, of course, are available. And what you talked a little bit about the food and struggling with food. Talk to us about like the daily diet, if you can. Oh dear. Oh, are you still there? Sorry, we lost the line to you for a second.
You cut out slightly there.
Yeah, so did you, Spencer. But I think we got you back now.
I think I heard most of it.
Go on.
Yeah. I think I heard most of it. You were talking about struggles with food. No, the food was, yeah. So it's basically this challenge came in two halves, and one of the halves was a bit of a surprise. I knew we were camping. I kind of had assumed or had hoped at least that a lot of the campsites would be like the beautiful campsites in Wadi Rum. So we slept rough every night on these small mats that you literally put out just on the sands, and you go to sleep. It was warm enough at night usually to sleep in just shorts and nothing else. You'd have a sleeping bag next to you just in case it got a bit cooler. But often you wouldn't even need that. But some of the camps weren't so great. Lots of flies, quite difficult to relax during the day. 45, 46 degrees. No real shade. A little bit of shade, but if you're in the shade, you're then there all day. Like you can't really leave the shade. So
Hmm.
you don't have access to toilets or running water. Drinking water was warm. There's nothing to do really. You got to book with you, and of course the company of your team. But over the course of 30 days, you do feel quite confined to singular spaces. And I often had between 3 and 4 hours kip at night, and then you're expected obviously to get out and do it all again. So I have to say that I feel very proud of where we are, having completed it, and that's not a feeling that I've always had. It's good.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it for being so honest, Spencer. I could talk to you all afternoon, but I've been told by my producer we're going to have to go. So thank you very much for being with us, Spencer. Congratulations. I'm sure, as you say, your family are very, very proud of you, and you're a record breaker now. I feel like Roy Castle. We'll see you when you get back to the UK. All right, Spencer, thank you.
I hope so, my friend. Thanks.
Thanks, take care.